Hi children, welcome to a new math class. Today we are going to look at the chapter called multiplication, and you can find it in your Learning Ladders all-in-one textbook. Alright, if you have your Learning Ladders textbook, I want you to open to the chapter called multiplication, and we are going to learn everything about multiplication. Alright, so do you know what multiplication is? You would have heard about it earlier, you would have seen multiplication. We're going to understand a little more today about multiplication. So multiplication is nothing but repeated addition. When there are so many groups to add, it becomes difficult to do addition. That is where multiplication comes in handy. Instead of adding again and again and again, we can do multiplication. So how do we do multiplication? How do we do multiplication of single digit numbers? How do we do multiplication of two-digit numbers? We're going to understand all that today. So as I explain to you this concept and work out some problems, I want you also to keep your notebook ready so that you can write down something that you learn and practice the questions along with me. Alright, let's get started. So how do we find the product? Or to understand multiplication, let's take this example. 13 into 4. Okay, how do we do this? Now 13 into 4, all right. So 13 is called the multiplicand, okay, and 4 is called the multiplier. Whatever answer you get here, that is called your product. So this is your multiplicand, 4 is your multiplier, and the answer you get here, that is your product. Okay, so remember these three terms: multiplicand, multiplier, and product. Now let's look at how we can actually do the multiplication. Alright, so step 1 is to multiply the ones digit. Remember, this is your ones place and this is your tens place. So step 1 is to multiply the ones place with 4. Okay, so let's do that. Multiplying ones place with 4, so that is 3 into 4 is what? 12. So what we do is we write 2 here in the ones. For 12 we write 2 in the ones column and we carry over ones to the tens column. Okay, so what we do is 3 into 4 is 12, so we just write 2 in the ones column and carry over 1 to the tens. That's your first step. Alright, in the second step we just multiply this 4 with the tens place, that is the digit in the tens place is 1, so we do 4 into 1, that is 4. Alright, but you also have 1 that is carried over, so you just add that 4 to 1, that is 4 plus 1, that is 5. Once you get 5, write it down in your tens column. So this is your answer, 52. Okay, let's take another example. How do we multiply 235 into 6? How do we do this? Okay, so remember, this is called your multiplicand, this is called your multiplier, and the answer you get is called your product. Come on, let's work this out. 235 into 6. Okay, so you just have to multiply the multiplier with ones place, tens place, and hundreds place. All right, so let's do that first. 6 into 5. 6 into 5 is 30. Because 30 is a two-digit number, we just write 0 in the ones place and 3 is carried over to the tens place. Remember 30? 6 into 5 is 30, so 30 you have ones place and tens place. You cannot write tens place here, you carry it over to the tens place. So you put it on top of 3. Okay, Now, this is your, the next step is to multiply 6 with 3. Okay. So 6 into 3 is 18. Alright. But you also have 3 as carried over. So you just add 3. 18 plus 3 is 21. Okay. So we put 1 here and again we carry over 2 to the hundredths place. Alright. And then the final step is to multiply 6 with 2. 6 into 2 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. Since we don't have any other digit, we can write 14 as it is. So that's your answer, 1410. Okay. Here's another example. Come on, as I work out these steps, I want you also to do it by yourself in your notebook. Let's try it. 1834 into 5. Alright. How do we do this? So the multiplier is 5. The multiplicand is 1834. And the answer you get is called the product. Okay. Let's do the steps. So we will need to multiply 5 with 4, 5 with 3, 5 with 8 and then 5 with 1. We start with the ones place and go all the way till the last. What is the last place? So we have the ones place, we have the tens place, hundreds place, and we go all the way till the thousands place. Okay, let's do it. So first let's do 5 into 4. 5 into 4 is 20. That's right. But we don't write 20 here. We just put ones place here and carry over 2. 2 is carried over. Okay. So we are done with that. Now the next step is to do the tens place. Multiply 5 into 3. That's right. 5 into 3 is 15. But we also have 2 carried over. So we just have to add 2 to 15. That is 15 plus 2 is 17. So 5 3s are 15. 15 plus 2 17. So we write 7 here and again carry over 1. Okay. Now what is the next step? Any guesses? We are done with 3. We are done with ones place. We are done with tens place. Now we have to do the hundreds place. So we do 5 into 8. 5 into 8 is 40. Do we write 40 as it is? No, we have 1 here. So we add 1 to it. 41. That's right. So we put 1 here and carry over 4. That's the last step for us to do is to do 5 into 1. 5 into 1 is 5. We have 4 also. Add 5 plus 4, that is 9. That's it. So your answer is 9170. So the product is 9170. So multiplicand, multiplier and product. Now let's look at some properties of multiplication. Okay, here's your first property. Let's take an example. 3 into 5. What is 3 into 5? 15, correct? What about 5 into 3 is 15. Good. Let's take the third one. 2 into 9 is 18 and 9 into 2 is also 18. Now, can you observe something from all these 4 examples? What do you observe from 1 and 2? We see that 3 into 5 is same thing as 5 into 3, which is 15. Can you observe that? 3 into 5 is same thing as 5 into 3. And what do you observe from 3 and 4? 2 into 9 is equal to 9 into 2 is the same thing as 9 into 2, which is 18. Correct? So here's a property. The product of two numbers remains the same even if the order of multiplication is changed. Can you see? The product of two numbers 3 and 5 is the same, 15. Even if order is changed, 5 into 3. So you can write it as 3 into 5 or 5 into 3. The product remains the same. Okay. So once again, I'm reading out the property. First property. The product of two numbers remains the same even if the order of multiplication is changed. Here's another example. 2 into 4 is 8. What is 4 into 2? Is 8. Correct? See, the order changed. 2 into 4, 4 into 2, but the product remains the same. So that's your first property. Now, to understand the second property, let's do the following. 3 into 2 into 6. That's your first one. Okay. The second one is 3 into 2 into 6. And the third one is 3 into 6 into 2. Okay. So these are your, these are your three examples. Now, how do we do this? First, you do the what is inside the brackets. Remember the board mass principle. So first comes brackets. So we do 3 into 2, that is 6. And then you have 6 into 6, which is 36. That's how this particular problem can be solved. How about this? So 3 into, first brackets 2 into 6 is 12, correct? 12 into 3 is 36. What about this? What is inside the brackets? 3 into 6, that is 18. And then 18 into 2 is 36. So you see, this 3 into 2 into 3 is 36. This is also 36. This is also 36. Here's your property. When two or more numbers are multiplied, the product remains the same even when the order of multiplication is changed. Okay. So two or numbers are multiplied. You see the order is changed, but the product is still the same. Okay. 3 into 2 into 6 you can do. It will be the same as 3 into 2 into 6. Okay. Or it will be the same as 3 into 6 into 2. The order can be changed here and there. 3 to 6 can be put here and there, but it doesn't matter what the order is. The product remains the same, which is 36. That's your second property. Now, let's observe the following. 3 into 1 is 3. 14 into 1 is 14. 178 into 1 is 178. So what can we learn from this? When any number is multiplied by 1, the product is the number itself. Correct? 3 into 1 is 3 itself. 14 into 1 is 14 itself. 178 into 1 is 178. So any number, when it is multiplied by 1, the product is the number itself. So tell me, when a number is multiplied by 1, 256 into 1, the answer is, the product is 256. Correct? Good. Now, 3 into 0 is 0. 14 into 0 is 0. 178 into 0 is 0. Okay? Here's your next property. When any number is multiplied by 0, the product is 0. Easy property, right? Any number that is multiplied by 0, the product is 0. You can take a big number, 1786, 1780, multiplied with 0. The moment this number is multiplied with 0, the product is 0. Okay. Here's your last property. Let's take this example. 5 into 7 plus 3. Okay. This is nothing but 5 into 7 plus 5 into 3. Now, this is called distributive property over addition. Okay. That means when I'm multiplying 5 with 7 plus 3, you can distribute this 5 to 7 and 3. Alright. So, let's see. Let's solve this side. 5 into 7 plus 3 is 5 into 10. This is 50. Okay. How about let's solve this. 5 into 7 is 35 plus 5 into 3 is 15. Correct. So 35. 35 plus 15 is 50. As you can see, both are 50s. So you can distribute this 5 over into 7 and 3. 5 into 7 plus 5 into 3. This is called distributive property over addition. Okay, let's take another example. 3 into 6 plus 4 is the same thing as distribute this 3 into over 6, 3 into 6 plus 3 into 4. 3 into 4. If you work out this, you will get both the answers as 30. Now let's look at the distributive property over subtraction. Okay, 5 into 7 minus 3 is the same, is equal to distribute this 5 over 7 and 5 over 3, but with subtraction. That is 5 into 7 minus 5 into 3. If you work this out, you will get it as 5 into 7 minus 3 is 4. This is 5 into 7 is 35 minus 5 into 3 is 15. 5 into 4 is 20. 35 minus 15 is 20. This is the distributive property over subtraction. Similar to addition, but just that you can distribute this 5 with subtraction. Let's take another example. 8 into 6 minus 2. Can you tell me what is the distributive property? What is this same thing as? Distribute 8 into 6 with subtraction minus 8 into 2. Now if you solve this, this will become 8 into 4. This is 48 minus 16. 8 into 4 is 32. 48 minus 16 is also 32. This is the distributive property over subtraction. Now let's look at multiplication by 10, 100 and 1000. Okay. Observe the following. 3 into 10 is 30. 3 into 100 is 300. 3 into 1000 is 3000. Okay. Here's your one example. Now let's look at this. 15 into 10 is 150. 15 into 100 is 1500. And 15 into 1000 is 15,000. Now, what do you observe from these two sets of examples? Here's one set, here's one more set. Can you observe something? That's right. The first thing that you can observe is whenever you multiply a number by 10, correct? The product is the same number, 3 and 3, followed by 1, 0. Okay? When you multiply a number with 10, it's the same number followed by 1, 0. Okay? Look at this. 15 into 10 is the same number 15, just add another 0 to it, followed by another 0. It becomes 150. Simple, right? Okay, I want you to try these. 73 into 10. What is the product? That's right, it's the same number 73, just add another 0 because it's multiplied with 10. What about this? 2483 into 10. Can you multiply this? Yes, the product is the same thing, 2483, just add another 0. That's it. How about this? 110 into 10. What's the product? 110, include another 0, 0. That's it. Now, can you observe something else from this? That's right. When a number is multiplied by 100, okay, the product is again the number itself, but followed by 2 zeros, because 100 has 2 zeros, you include 2 zeros. Look at this. When you multiply 15 with 100, the answer is 15 itself, but followed by 2 zeros. Okay? Let's take another example. How about this? 273 into 100. Here is a number that is multiplied by 100. What is the product? The number itself, 273, but followed by 2 zeros. 10, when you multiply a number with 10, it was followed by 1 0. When you multiply a number with 100, because it has 2 zeros, it's followed by 2 zeros. Now try these with me. 85 into 100. What do you think is a product? That's right, 8500. What about this? 348 into 100. What's the product? The number itself, 348, followed by 2 zeros. Very good. You're getting good at this. Alright. Now, what can you observe from this when you multiply a number with 1000? That's right. When we multiply a number with 1000, again the product is the number itself but followed by 3 zeros. Because 1000 has 3 zeros, we include 3 zeros here. The same thing, when you multiply a number with 1000, 15 is multiplied by 1000, the answer, the product is the number itself. That is, you just write 15, include 3 zeros at the end, because 1000 has 3 zeros. So with 10 it is 1 zero, with 100 it is 2 zeros, and with 1000 it is 3 zeros. Let's take another example. 3 into 1000. You've already seen it. 3000. What about 273 into 1000? When you multiply this number with 1000, remember the rule, write the number 273 followed by how many zeros? 3 zeros. Perfect. What about this? 7890 into 1000. Can you tell me what the answer is? The number itself, 7890 followed by 3 zeros. Good. Alright. Now you try to solve this multiplication problem. 5 into 30. You know what is the easy way to do this? You can do the regular multiplication, 30 into 5, and remember you can follow the steps. 5 into 0 is 0, 5 into 3 is 15. So this is one way to do it. 150 is your answer. That's one way to do it. You learned it earlier. Another way to do it is to break this into factors. Okay, what do I mean by that? Can you see? 5 into 30 can be written as 5 into 30 can be written as 3 into 10. That's right. 3 into 10 is 30. Now it's easy. 5 into 3 is 15 into 10. What is a number multiplied by 10? The number itself, 15 followed by 0. This is one way to do multiplication when there are when there is a number ending with 0 or 2 zeros or 3 zeros. It's easier to break it into factors and do the multiplication. I'll show you with another example. What about this? 4 into 500. Come on. Break it into factors. 4 into 500 can be written as 5 into 100. Correct? Now, 4 into 5 is 20 into 100. A number multiplied with 100, so keep the number as it is, just write 2 more zeros. That's your answer. 2000, sorry. 63 into 70. Can you try this? That's right. You just have to do 63 into 7 into 10. That's right. Now, you have to do 63 into 7. You know how to do 63 into 7, right? Just do 63 into 7. What are the steps? Yes, first 7 into 3. That is 21. I put 1 here and 2 gets carried over. And then we do 7 into 6. 7 6 are 42 plus 2 is 44. So the answer is 441. But we also have into 10. A number multiplied by 10 is the number itself followed by 1 0. That's your answer. Okay, now let's look at multiplication by 2 digits. We have seen multiplication by 1 digit so far. How do we do multiplication by 2 digits? Now there are 2 methods to do it. So I'll show you the first method. Method 1. Let's take the example of 243 into 32. Here's your 2-digit multiplier. How do we do multiplication when there is a 2-digit multiplier? Okay. This is method 1. Okay. So in this method, remember what's the multiplicand? Multiplicand is 243, right? And what's your multiplier? 32. So first you have to write the multiplier as, you have to expand the multiplier. 32 can be written as 30 plus 2. Okay, this is the first thing you need to do. And now let's look at the steps. 243 into 32. Okay, so the first step is for you to multiply 243 by 2. That's right, ones place. Okay, so if you do 243 by into 2, what happens? That's your first step. 243 into 2. How do we do that? 243 into 2. You've learned this earlier, multiplication of single digit, multiplication by single digit number. 2 into 3, 6. 2 into 4, 8. 2 into 2, 4. That's 486. So that becomes your first row. Just write it down. 486. And this is your first row. Okay, we are done with that. Now the second step is for you to multiply to again 243, not with 3 but with 30. Remember, we've written it as 30 plus 2, so we multiplied with 30. Okay, that's your second step. So you multiply 243 with 30. All right, how do we do that? Remember, you can break this into factors. 243 into 3 into 10. 30 can be written as 3 into 10. Now you just need to do 243 into 3. Alright, how do we do 243 into 3? 243 into 3. Come on, do it for me. First step, 3 into 3, 9. Then 3 into 4, 12. 2 comes here and 1 gets carried over. Then 3 into 2, 6. 6 plus 1, 7. 729. So it's 729 into 10. Now when a number is multiplied by 10, the product is the number itself, 729 followed by 10. So you got it as 7290. Now this can be written as your second row. Okay, so we write it as 7290. That is your second row. Okay, notice how I wrote everything in the correct place value. Okay, once you've got your both the rows, you just have to add, do the addition of first and second row. That's your third step. Third step is to do first row plus second row. Okay, you just have to add these two rows. How do we add? We add from the extreme right. So 6 plus 0 is 6. 9 plus 8 is 17. This is your regular addition. 1 gets carried over. Then 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7. And 7 plus 0 is 7. So this is your product, 7776. So the question was 243 into 32 is equal to 7776. This is how you multiply by 2 digit using method 1. Okay, now let's solve the following. 145 into 46, but this time we are going to use method 2. How is it different from method 1? Observe. Okay, so I'm going to write it as 145 into 46. This is your question. Remember, here is again multiplication by 2 digits. 46 is a 2-digit number. So step 1, first step, do 145 into 6. That's your step 1. 145 into 6. That is, you're multiplying 145. That is the multiplicand by the ones digit of the multiplier. Okay, so if you do 145 into 6, you will get it as 870. I'm not doing the multiplication. You can do it by yourself. When you do the multiplication, you will get it as 870. So you just need to write down 870 here. That becomes your first row. Okay, that's your first step. You're done with first step, 145 into 6. Now second step, you need to write, notice, very important step, you're going to write a 0 in the ones column of the second row. So the second row is here, right? In the ones column, that is here, you're going to write a 0. I'm going to put a 0. That's your second step. That's it. Now the third step is for you to multiply 145 with the tens digit of the multiplier. So 145 into 4. That's your third step. 145 into 4. What is 145 into 4? If you do that, you will get it as 580. Okay. Now you just have to write this 580 in the second row before 0. So it comes as 580. This 0 was the second step. Remember, we included 0 as a second step. Just before that, you write down 580. Okay. This is your third step. Now, once you've got your 2 rows, the final step is to just add row 1 and row 2. Okay, that's your final step. First row plus second row. When you do the addition, you do it as 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 7 is 7, 8 plus 8 is 16, 1 gets carried over, and 1 plus 5 is 6. So 6670 is your product. That means answer is 145 into 46 is 6670. That's it. This is how you can solve multiplication of 2 digits by second method. This is a more commonly used method, so I want you to learn this method properly. Okay. So first step is for you to multiply 145, the multiplicand, with the ones place. Okay. The second step is for you to write down the 0. Put a 0 in the ones column in the second row. Very important. The third step is to multiply 145 into 4. That is the multiplicand with the tens place digit. Okay. Remember this 4. This thing. And then put it in the second row. The fourth step is for you to add both the rows, 1 plus 2. That becomes your answer. Okay. Now I want you to try this 1723 into 35. Okay. How do we do this? All right. So we're going to solve this using the second method. 1723 into 35. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is to do 1723 into 5. That's my first step. Okay. So how do I do that? 5 into 3, 15. 1 gets carried over. 5 into 2, 10. 10 plus 1, 11. 1 gets carried over. Then 5 into 7, 35. 35 plus 1, 36. 1 gets carried over. Again 5 into 1, 5. 5 plus 3, 8. That's it. You got your first row. You're done with first row. Okay. Now, what's the next thing to do? That's right. Put a 0 in the second row, but in the ones place. So I did that. Put a 0. Okay. Now, what's the next step? Great. Do this. 1723 into 3. Multiplicand is multiplied with the tens place of the multiplier. So 1723 into 3. Let's do that. 3 into 3, 9. I put it here. 3 into 2, 6. Very good. 3 into 7, 21. So 1 and 2 gets carried over. Then again 3 into 1, 3. 3 plus 2, 5. There is your second row. And finally, you just have to add both the rows. 5 plus 0 is 5. 9 plus 1 is 10. 6 plus 6 plus 1 is 13. 8 plus 1 plus 1 is 10. 5 plus 1 is 6. That's your answer. 60,305. 5. This is how you can do the multiplication by 2-digit numbers. Remember, before doing step 2, this one, before doing the second row, it's important that you put the 0. Okay, very important. Okay, let's take another example. 2501 into 16. Okay, we've already seen 2 examples earlier. This is your third one. So now you can work along with me. Let's see how much you have understood it. How do we do this? 2501 into 16. Come on, do it with me. 2501 into 16. 2-digit number. How do we multiply? First step, 2501 into 6. Very good. Let's do that. 6 into 1 is 6. Then 6 into 0 is 0. 6 into 5 is 30. 3 gets carried over. Then 6 into 2 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. I write 15 as it is. That's it. We are done with the first row. Okay. This is your first row. Now what about the second row? That's right. We do 1 into this. But before you do that, what is important in the second row? What do we need to do? Perfect. Put a 0 here, right below the ones place, right below the ones place of the first row. Okay, put a 0 here in the ones place of the second row. And now you can do the multiplication. 1 into 1 is okay. Another thing that you can do is to also cancel the carryover. The carryover that is done in step 1, you can cancel it, because if there are any carryovers for step 2, you don't want to get confused. So you can cancel this carryover and then start the steps. 1 into 1 is 1. 1 into 0 is 0. 1 into 5 is 5. 1 into 2 is 2. That's it. You're done with first row and second row. Now all you have to do is to add. 6 plus 0 is 6. 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 0 is 0. 5 plus 5 is 10. 1 gets carried over. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4. 40,016 is the answer. Remember what I have done here? Cancelling. So before doing step 2, cancel the carryover. Okay, that is done in step 1. Alright. So in the previous example also, when we did 1723 into 35, you can cancel the carryover of the first step and then go to the second step. Let's learn multiplication from word problems. Okay, here's your first question. If one box has 325 sweets, how many sweets are there in 8 such boxes? How do we do this? Okay, what have they given? They have given the number of sweets in one box. Okay, how many are there? They said 325 are there. Alright, now they're asking you to find out the number of sweets in how many boxes? In 8 boxes. That's right. Okay, so what do you think it is? In one box you have 325. So in 8 boxes it will be 325 into 8. Correct? Or another way to do it is 325 plus 325 plus 325 8 times. You don't want to repeat addition. It's going to be complicated. That's why we do multiplication. Repeated addition is nothing but multiplication. So 325 into 8. Now you know how to do 325 into 8. You can do it easily. Let's do that. 325 into 8. So first 8 into 5, 40. 8 into 2, 16. 16 plus 4, 20. 8 into 3, 24. 24 plus 2, 26. That's it. Therefore, there are 2,600 sweets in 8 boxes. This is how you can calculate. So, one box has 325 sweets. We found out that 8 boxes has 2,600 sweets. Here's another question. In a garden, trees are planted in rows. If there are 35 rows and 520 plants in each row, find the total number of trees. There are 35 rows like this. Like this, there are 35. 35 of them are there. And then they're saying In each row there are 520 plants. Like this, like this, like this, like this. There are 520 plants in each row. So every row will have 520, 520, 520 like that. Okay. Now they are asking you to say in this entire garden, how many trees are there or how many plants are there? How do we do this? Let's write it down. Number of trees in one row. How many are there in one row? They said 520. Okay. Now you just have to calculate the number of trees in how many rows? 35 rows. That's right, because the garden has 35 rows. What do we do? One row, 520. 35 rows, 520 into 35. 35 times 520. That's it. Now let's do the multiplication. 520 into 35. Multiplication by 2 digits. What do we do? First row, how do we find? That's right. Let's do 520 into 1's place, 5. So 5 into 0 is 0. 5 into 2 is 10. 1 gets carried over. Then 5 into 5 is 25. 25 plus 1 is 26. That's your first row. Then put a 0 in your second row and then cancel the carried over of the first step, and then let's work with the next step. What is the next step? That's right, 520 into 3. Perfect. So 3 into 0 is 0, 3 into 2 is 6, and 3 into 5 is 15. That's your second row. What's left? Adding both the rows. Superb. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 6 is 12. 5 plus 2 plus 1 is 8. And 1 plus 0 is 1. 18,200. That means, therefore, there are 18,200 trees in the entire garden. Got it? This is how you can use multiplication to solve word problems. Here's the last example. How many legs are there for 175 chairs? So we know that a chair, one chair has how many legs? Number of legs for one chair. Have a look at the picture. How many are there? That's right, a chair has 4 legs, correct? But they're asking you to find out how many legs are there for 175 chairs. So therefore, number of legs for how many chairs? 175 chairs. What is the easy way to calculate this? You can't go ahead and start counting all the legs. So the easy way to do it is to multiply 175 into 4. Let's do that. 175 into 4. 5 4s are 20. 2 gets carried over. 7 4s are 28. 28 plus 2 is 30. 3 gets carried over. And finally 4 into 1 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. So you see we have 700 legs. Okay. Therefore, there are 700 legs for how many chairs? 175 chairs. Got it? One chair, 4 legs. 175 chairs, 700 legs. That's how you do it. So that brings us to the close of the chapter. I hope you learned a lot about multiplication, and now you have understood what is multiplication and how to multiply simple numbers. It's very easy, right? That's it. Now, there are a lot of questions given for you to practice. You know why you have to practice? Because when you practice, you will become really good at multiplication. So go ahead and practice as many questions as possible. After every concept, after every section of the chapter, there are questions given. So practice it. Take the help of your teacher or your parent, and also if you need, you can come back and watch the video again and again until you are really clear on what multiplication is. Alright, have a great day and happy learning. See you soon.